Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to Dungeons&Discourse, a D&D discussion podcast where we talk about all things D&D related. Be it running the game or playing in the game, we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Carlo, and today I'm joined by Walter.
Hello there.
And I think you've decided on the topic for this episode, so you may feel free to reveal it.
Yes, well, we came to it last episode, I believe.
Yes.
We glanced over it.
That's a good point, actually.
So, it was Barbarian, our first class to cover.
Yes, so I'm not sure how well we're going to follow it, but I believe the current idea is to do a class every 5 episodes.
Yeah, that is indeed the pitch.
Yeah.
We might differentiate, but...
Yeah, we're setting arbitrary rules for ourselves without any reason.
Yeah.
Basically. But we'll see.
Maybe it's fun.
I think it's good pacing, maybe. Because we don't want to bombard people with classes. But that might be me being a bit biased, because I'm kind of a forever DM.
Well, I also like discussing the classes. There's a lot to go over. Definitely with the Barbarian. Well,
yeah, I think you're definitely much better versed on it than me.
Yeah, well, you have some, like, spellcasting classes, which basically just you are a spellcaster and you have this on the side. And, like, the martial classes, in my experience, are way more interesting to cover.
Why is that? Maybe
Because,
there's less overlap, maybe, or...
Well, if we're just talking classes, spellcasting classes are, in my opinion, have some less interesting abilities than the martial classes because they have spellcasting.
Yeah, that's gonna be annoying if we have to talk about spellcasters because we have to dive into the spell specifically. Because else they're all way too similar, most likely.
They're always the big spells like the cleric spell, protection from evil and good that we can cover. That is really so deep ingrained in that that class or.
Well, it's not every spellcaster even because druid does have some really interesting mechanics, for instance.
Yeah,
so there are some interesting spellcasters.
I haven't actually read up on Druid.
No, I mean they have wild shape. So that's infinitely more cooler than just the wizard getting spell slots back on a short rest, for instance.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll probably do them in order, right? The way to run the PHP. So the first one will be Barbarian.
Actually, first question
for
you. What is your experience with Barbarians?
So
and that's as well as DM as a player, because I know you personally didn't play Barbarian.
I actually have.
You actually have?
I think it was a Barbarian. It's my first session was when I was a guest in a campaign that you regularly play in, Dickie's campaign. I'm not sure if you were in that session, actually.
Well, yeah, you were like the Minotaur, right?
Yes. Were you in that session?
No, I wasn't in that session, but I did hear.
I don't think we knew each other at the time, even.
No. That was way before.
Yes. I played a Minotaur Barbarian. It was the first time I played D&D, so I had DM'd before. That was, I think, whilst I was running the horrible Beholder campaign that we will probably talk about once we cover Beholders.
Let's not have episode 4 here. Let's just keep topic.
No. Yes. I think I mentioned to Maarten that I really wanted to play for once. Because, of course, if you have actually played the game, then you know how to DM a lot better.
Yeah.
So he said, we might be able to get you in on Dickie's campaign. And I had this Minotaur Barbarian I'd rolled up. Rufus, I think he was called. So I played that character. I think you were like level 1 or level 3 at the time. So it really wasn't, I really didn't have that many memorable abilities.
And it only was one session, wasn't it?
Yeah, we barely had any combat. That was like a session where we really derailed hard. Dickie was railroading a lot of the time.
But back to like
I
your
keep getting
experience
off topic, I'm sorry,
on Barbarian.
So that's
you have limited experience, but...
Yeah. And maybe as a DM it might be interesting to talk about it more than me as a player, because I didn't get to use any of the abilities, except for Rage during that session.
Right. Facing a Barbarian.
Horrible.
As a DM.
They're so tanky, and they're really hard to balance an encounter around. Because basically, a barbarian is gonna deal a whole lot of damage, and it's gonna tank a whole lot. So if you throw something really strong at it, the barbarian is either going to take it down, as what it tanks for every other player, and they can just safely throw spells at it or whatever. Or you create a creature that's a high enough CR to actually get through the barbarian's health bar, but then it'll kill half the party in like 2 other turns. Yeah. So I feel like they're a balancing nightmare. But it's mostly because they are like the one really tanky class in the game.
I have DM'd for a barbarian once, and I've had exactly this problem.
It's difficult.
It's hard because they were killing basically everything without the barbarian taking much damage. But then I threw a giant spider or something of the sort at him.
Yeah.
And he was 1v1ing this thing, and he was absolutely winning, you know?
Yeah.
The thing, like, made 2 attacks on him, and he actually succeeded the first 2 con saves, so he didn't take any poison damage.
Yeah.
And well, if you take half piercing damage, that's not going to be a lot. So, but I was getting a bit frustrated that, well, not maybe frustrated, but I was challenged to overcome this player being so strong because of his resistances.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think there's ways around it, but at the lower level you don't have access to that as a DM.
When the third turn finally came, and he finally failed his Constitution saving check, and he took that poison damage, I one-shotted him.
Really?
Yeah.
That was gonna bring it up. Yeah. You need to not deal any physical damage. No bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing.
Yeah.
Then you can get them down. But
that's very scary for him.
Yeah, but the problem is that as a DM, a lot of creatures, if you're lower level, don't really have that. There's ones out there, but they do have to fit the narrative you're going for. You can't... there's just scenarios in which you can't throw spiders. Well, spiders would be a pretty generic enemy. You can maybe always throw at them. But there's scenarios where you maybe won't have a creature that, will deal a different type of damage. So then you gotta find other ways around it. Maybe status effects like blinding as well could maybe go around that.
But also ranged or flying targets.
Flying targets would be a good one as well.
Very difficult for barbarians because their ranged options mostly are limited to javelins.
Or hand axes.
Javelins aren't the greatest weapons, and neither can they use something like what's it called? Reckless attack on a javelin.
Wait, they can't?
They can't.
It's only physical. It's only with melee weapons.
Melee weapons.
Wow,
reckless attack.
I was not aware. That's cool.
Let's actually. We're already referencing the things what barbarian does.
Yeah,
so let's actually get into the abilities. The first one, obviously.
Yes.
It's gonna be its rage, but before we cover that...
Oh, okay. There's more.
Yeah, an armored defense.
Is that the first ability they get? It's not rage?
No, it's both.
Oh, they get 2. Yeah, I'm not
first
too
level,
well versed on this.
They get raged and unarmored defense. And they get 2 rages to start with.
So what I know about unarmored defense is that their AC is increased if they don't wear armor. I think it's based off their con and dex, right? Or something else.
So, normal AC would be 10 plus your dexterity.
Yeah.
Unarmored defense let you add, next to your dexterity, your con modifier.
Yeah. I think Monk gets something similar. And maybe even certain classes get that as well.
Yeah.
Or races, I mean.
Race even?
I don't know. The Turtle gets something weird. It also affects his AC.
The Turtle just gets a high AC, base AC.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind that. But yeah, rage is really the bread and butter, I'd say.
Rage.
So that's really the main focus point.
It's a combat state, essentially.
Oh, it's so strong. I mean, it's really, if there isn't any rage, there's no barbarian, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you get 3 effects, I believe. So you get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Yes.
You get a +2 on strength, I believe, for attacks.
You gain some extra damage on your melee attacks.
Not to hit, just damage.
Yes,
Okay.
to the damage.
And then also you get, I believe, advantage on strength or something.
Yes, you get advantage on strength saving throws and athletics checks.
Such a good ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great for grappling, great for getting out of grappling. Strength saves.
It might just be like the most front-loaded class, I think, Barbarian.
Yeah.
Just because of rages. I mean, you get to take half the damage, you get to deal more damage. If there are certain skill checks to come up, you get, like, increases them as well.
Their saving throws, which they are proficient in, are also strength and constitution.
Well, that's relatively okay.
Strength is nice. Constitution is actually great.
That's for poison.
I said,
that's
for
their
poison.
weakness. So that's actually good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean,
Never
there is
realized that.
also dexterity saving throws that could help a lot. But then again, you need some weaknesses, right?
I believe you get abilities later to help with dex saves.
Oh,
as
yes.
well.
Yeah. That's a nice transition.
Is it on level 2 already? Or
level 2. Danger sense.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's also such a good ability.
If you can
it's great.
See a source which needs you to make a saving throw. For
I believe
example,
it's only dex, right?
Dex saving throws.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Like for, say, not falling into a pit trap or seeing a fireball fly at you.
Yeah, it's even spells, which is so strong.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You get advantage on saving throws.
Yeah.
On dex saving
insane,
throws.
because there's like a lot of creatures that have like dex stuff. Like any dragon breath attack, for instance, that's all dex. And the barbarian at level 2 can just say, no, I get advantage on that. It's so strong.
Very strong.
And once again, really front-loaded. Yeah.
But they also got reckless attack on level 2. It's kind of a double-edged sword.
Reckless attack is really fun, I think.
Reckless attack really has a good counterplay.
We should maybe also first mention what it is.
Works very well with brutal critical.
Let's say, well, we're maybe going a bit too fast. Reckless attack, for anyone maybe not too familiar with the Barbarians, we should mention this. It's you take an attack, you gain advantage, but then any attack that you receive until it's your next turn gains advantage.
Yeah, you only gain advantage on one attack. So if
it's not a set of attacks, just one. Okay.
Yes, just one.
So I'd say it even loses power later on if you have multi-attack. As a barbarian. Reckless attack doesn't skill that well then.
It's still strong.
Yeah, that's fair.
Advantage is not everything. Something you're just gonna get out of thin air.
That really depends on what and what session or what DM you have. Because if you use optional rules like flanking, you can set it up a lot more comfortably.
Yeah.
But maybe enemies can also do that against you, so maybe it doesn't matter that much. I think you're right, yeah.
But that's reckless attack. Then the primal paths. I think we're gonna skip over that because that's
those are the subclasses.
Those are the subclasses.
I'm worried we won't even have time to get into most of them.
No,
but we'll see how far we get.
We're just gonna glance over them.
Yeah.
Level 5. 5, yeah. Extra attack and fast movement. Fast movement?
That's like 10 feet extra, right?
Yes, 10 feet
just
extra.
Base walking speed.
That's
so strong.
That's gonna get your Dwarven or Halfling.
Yeah.
A big boost.
Well, actually, that's after their first feat. So even Halflings, Dwarves can even get a feat to really alleviate that movement speed. Then they can get the extra 10, so everyone can be just really fast.
So
that's insanely good.
It's incredibly useful. Plus, it doesn't restrict to walking speed or normal moving speed. If you have a flying speed of 30 and you gain fast movement, you now have a flying speed of 40.
Oh, and also with swimming as well, right? Well, any form of movement, I guess. So,
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. So you really, I'm not sure if it's like that in any class, in every class when you get a buff like that. But the fact that it applies on everything and not just like walking or running,
Yes.
is really nice detail, I think.
Yeah.
And you also get an extra attack as well on that level. Or is it a level already?
5th level is an extra attack.
Wow, more speed and extra attack. Once again, right? Barbarian gets really good combat boosts. I haven't heard one that's like actually that bad. Maybe reckless attack, but that's situational. So even then, it's not too bad.
This is gonna be the only extra attack the Barbarian gets, though.
Okay, fair. They don't get two?
No, they don't.
Okay, it's only one then.
There's certain subclasses that, when they rage, can make an extra attack with a bonus action.
Okay, yeah.
A normal attack with a bonus action.
I really like that it's subclass specific. That allows more variation within subclasses.
I think that's the Berserker. The one with more Barbarian in your Barbarian.
Oh, there's just one. Okay. Yeah. That's cool. I like that. I thought it was two, but I guess it's just one. Well, a fighter gets like way more. But
it might be.
The fact that like Barbarian gets it really early then, if it only gets one, right? Because at 5th level, like there's so much more to come at that point.
I think so. Well, their main bread and butter for dealing damage.
Oh, the rage increases most likely, right?
The rage damage increases, but not every level, but
proficiency,
every,
I think.
say 5 levels.
No, that's the amount of rages, or that's the amount of rages they get, or do you mean the strength of the rage as well?
No, like the rage damage. It goes up every one about 5 levels.
1 in 5, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes from +2 to +4.
Oh, that's not even
from
that.
1 to 20. So it's actually not.
It's not even that large of an increase.
No, that's not.
They're so front loaded then. What? Because what other buffs do they get to their like combat abilities? It feels like there's not that much else to give them. I might be wrong.
They get the like I mentioned before. We are skipping over Feral Instinct for a second, but
so let's just go in order. Maybe it's better. We'll get to it eventually, right?
Alright. Yeah, sure. Then Feral Instinct. I've got to look this up real quickly as well.
Not like I'm better prepared to all the time.
Yes. It was advantage on initiative rolls.
Okay. And so I would say that's not even, that.
When you are surprised, you can still take your turn as normal, as long as you use your bonus action to rage first.
Yeah, well, you would do that anyways as a barbarian if you are running into a large combat encounter.
If you run out of rages, then you can't make use of it.
Yeah.
But in general, you have advantage on initiative. What is advantage on initiative?
So good.
Yeah.
At least, well, it's not good in combat itself, but it helps you just, get things done quicker. So
yeah, that with the extra movement speed.
Well, I think so far it's the weakest ability the barbarian gets. And even then, it's still decent, right?
Yeah.
Like, some classes get stuff like, you're immune to diseases, which is like more RP tied and most likely won't come up in most campaigns. I haven't seen anything like that for the barbarian so far. So they seem really strong ability-wise. What's next?
But the thing I was trying to talk about earlier, brutal critical.
Oh god.
This is the bread and butter which makes the barbarian go from a normal tank to a damage dealing tank.
Yeah. Well, we've already had the bread and butter. That's outrageous. Maybe this is like, what would you have with bread and butter?
Like their DPS sites. Or just the jam.
The
jam on the bread and butter.
Jam and butter is a bit cursed.
Well, it's peanut butter then.
Not better. We'll go with peanut butter. Fine.
Cheese.
Cheese with... I don't like butter on my bread. I don't see how this is relevant at all. Let's continue with barbarians and not...
No. Let's grow as a person.
Okay, fine.
Butter on your bread is the grown up way to eat bread.
Absolutely not. Butter is... No. Like, a little bit. So only if you're going to put something on your bread that's supposed to stick.
Going into it.
No. What did you have for breakfast, Walter? I want to know. Tell me.
It's bread and butter and hagelslag.
Yeah, that's a really Dutch thing. Hagelslag is like
chocolate rain.
flakes, essentially. Sounds really unhealthy, but it's really nice. It probably is unhealthy, let's be honest.
But brutal critical.
No, hold on.
Level,
No, you can't do this, Walter. You can't do this. I'm putting an end to this. I'm stopping this. No, you can't do this.
Can
Quickly,
you just let me do this?
Before we get into this is horrible podcasting, but I need to know, people in the comments, let us know what's right. If you're gonna have cheese in your bread, do you put butter in it or not? And the same with jam or peanut butter. What's acceptable and what's the adult way of doing it? Please continue. I'm sorry, I'm such an asshole. We're really bonding.
Starting at the 9th level, a barbarian, when they roll a critical hit, gets to roll an extra weapon damage die.
I thought it was that they could crit more easily, but it's just a damage die extra.
Yeah, so it does need to be a melee attack, so then again, javelins are not gonna cut it.
Yeah.
But like that great axe that you turn from, like, when you crit, you already get a second D12, but now you get a third D12. And the thing is,
that's great.
On 13th level, you gain this again.
So then it's
and
even
on 17th level,
it's free to
you gain this again. So when you are a 7th level barbarian, you get to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage dice.
If you crit.
Gee,
that's crazy.
Let's combine this with a half orc, which has also gets to throw another weapon dice when they crit.
It's such a good combat class. Granted, it's more situational.
When you crit, you are able to throw 6 d12s.
That's kind of interesting, because paladins get where they crit, they can smite and do a whole lot of damage.
Yeah.
Barbarians kind of get the same thing, which is more primitive.
But they don't expand the spell slot, so...
No, it's innate, but it's also less damage when you compare it to smite, I think.
Depends on the weapon the barbarian is wielding, I think.
Well...
I mean...
I'm not sure about that.
5d4s is still going to be less impressive than...
Wait, smite is 5d4s? What?
No. Like, if a barbarian...
what barbarian is going to use a dagger, honestly?
Yeah.
What? No, they're going to use a great axe. I think they get that from the start, even.
A great axe?
In their kit.
Yeah, it's in their kit.
Yeah, so why would they use a dagger?
Equipment.
I'm not saying you should never use a dagger as a barbarian. I mean, there might be a situation that calls for it, but... Yeah, realistically, you'd be...
Alright, let's say you get Tavern Brawler feat, and it is a melee attack because you left your great axe at the door of the tavern.
Okay. And your fists are d4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is with the Tavern Brawler feat.
But I'll still say you shouldn't have forgotten your axe. No, I do get your point. But then...
Relentless Rage.
Same scenario, though. If a paladin doesn't have his weapon, he also can't use smite, right? He can't use smite on his fist.
He can.
I don't... Can they?
Yeah.
That's like the ungodly bitch slap. Just boom, like the power of 1,000 gods.
Yeah.
Just, oh my god. They can... Really? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can.
Oh, actually, the reason I'm thinking of it is because the D&D subreddit is starting to get really get into the raw of the game.
We'll cover that when we cover the Paladin in 5 episodes.
We messed up. We shouldn't have given them a shout out. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
So, Relentless Rage.
Yes.
Normally, when you go below 0 hit points, you go unconscious, right?
Oh, I read about this. This is also so
Barbarians don't.
Yeah.
They get to make saving throws. And if they make it, they don't go unconscious.
This is
they
so
outright go back to 1 HP. And
so good. And an orc already gets this, right?
The thing is, only once. This they can do every time as long as they make their con saves.
Yeah, but the DC increases.
The DC increases, starts with 10.
Yeah.
and it increases by 5 every time this ability is used.
Okay. That's interesting.
But still, that's for like the average, probably like 2 or 3 times that with Relentless Rage you can stay at 1 HP.
That's so good.
It's
so good.
Yeah.
How... I get that Barbarians don't have much like RP abilities.
This is
like
a high
abilities.
level already, because we're now in the 11th level abilities, but
yeah, still
it is still
so strong.
Yeah,
I think it's the way it's balanced is maybe because Barbarians don't have that many role-playing abilities, or they don't have any utility, because all they can really do is fight. But once they actually start fighting, they are so strong. Oh, I am amazed. I read through this like a couple weeks ago, but now that we're actually talking about this and like we get to put the numbers out there, it sounds so ungodly amazing.
When you read it, you don't get to. Barbarians get like a feat, or not a feat, but features every level.
But that's because they're martial.
Ability score improvement, or an extra attack, or it is the brutal critical die.
Yeah.
They get something every level, not every class.
That's because they're martial. I think pretty much every martial class gets something every level. Just spellcasters, or classes that have access to spells, they don't get an extra feature if they get an increase in their highest level spell slot. So every class gets something useful when they level up.
Yeah, and the first 2 levels they actually get 2 feats.
Yeah, no, but that's what we tapped into, that they're really front loaded. But they keep getting stronger even as they level up. It's really crazy. Because I haven't seen any flavor abilities.
Flavor abilities are like bound to the primal paths, I think.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I feel like if you're playing like a monk, you get abilities that maybe are more like,
you get options, like,
and they tap more into the feeling of being a monk. Like, I think you can like walk in water or something, or you can like deflect missiles. They're useful abilities, but they're also more, they're like flavored. It's like, oh, you're a monk, so you can do these special things. For a barbarian, it almost feels like it's all just damage, which in a way makes sense, right? Because their main idea is that they get to rage, and if you're going to get into rage, you're supposed to deal more damage.
I mean,
but it just keeps
if
getting
the words barbarian and fighting beyond death, relentless rage is it just fits.
I guess maybe that's it. Maybe it fits the way it's so combat.
Yeah,
yeah, or at least the way that they make it like really like combat heavy. It works as flavoring as well. Yeah.
I think we're just both fans of the class now.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rarely get a chance to play classes. I think I don't know. I like to lean into more roleplay than really combat. I think combat's a little bit boring. Personally, that's why I like to lean onto the RP side of D&D a lot more. But so I don't know if I'd play a Barbarian, because it's so combat heavy. But if you're playing like a campaign with a lot of combat, and Barbarian it sounds amazing.
The thing I also wanted to mention about Rage is we mentioned that it's halving all the bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Yeah.
But this also counts for magical attacks.
No, it doesn't. Does it?
Yeah.
So all magical attacks are halved
as well.
Is that just magical bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, or any magical attack?
Magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing.
Wow. Yeah. Really? That's maybe that's not even that strong, but the fact that it scales upward is nice, right? Because later on, there's so many more monsters that actually deal magical attacks to counter other monsters that require magical attacks. But, yeah, it's good that the barbarian can also then scale up and doesn't fall off.
If you rage, you lose concentration, and you don't. You can't cast spells.
Yep, but you're probably not going to run into a situation where you're going to lose that.
We forgot to mention it earlier, and it just popped into my mind.
Yeah,
we should cover that.
Oh, I think... Oh god, we might have a problem on our hands, Walter.
The time?
No, it's even worse. I just heard some rain.
Oh, God.
I'm sitting above a window. It could be that our the rain will overpower the other audio, and that we won't be able to finish the episode at that point. That'll be interesting. Wait,
let's pray to God.
Yeah,
that it doesn't.
I just heard like 1 or 2 raindrops, so that's why I thought of it. But I don't hear anything right now.
Let's just hope it doesn't start raining too hard then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
maybe a bit of a
persistent
unwelcome warning message.
Persistent rage, level 15 ability.
Like I just keep interrupting you. I'm sorry, Walter. I don't do it on purpose. It's just my chaotic energy.
So, the thing we also didn't cover about raging is that it ends if for 1 turn you are not attacked or you don't attack.
Yeah.
Level 15, they get persistent rage. The rage only ends if they do so themselves or they fall unconscious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are ways to end rages prematurely, but getting them unconscious is like getting them basically out of the battle already. So
it's not hard for a barbarian to remain in rage, and even if they lose a rage, they most of the time
have another one.
Still have another one. Yeah. And
that makes sense. You mean else they're not that viable without their rage? Like a barbarian without rage is like a wizard without spells.
They do have to take a long rest to recover a rage. So a barbarian without rages.
Oh, maybe it actually is really balanced in that way. I like that.
Yeah.
I never really put much thought into this because I rarely play actual player characters. So hearing them from like this perspective, I think is really nice.
I mean, barbarian is still gonna be very strong. It's just when you don't have rages, then you are kind of fucked basically. Yeah, you're gonna miss out on like all the damages, the resistances, and the extra damage you can deal. But you still get like reckless attack, which also turns very bad if you don't have a rage on.
Yeah,
because you lose the resistances.
Yeah. You
Yeah, barbarian.
Yeah, without your rage, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's really bad. Well, still. I agree. Yeah. So what do we still have left? At this point, we're past half an hour. So I'm not sure we're even going to get to our subclasses, depending on how long we want to make this episode.
And let's go subclasses after Monster of the Week, then.
Oh, we have time left. We can do that. I mean,
yeah.
Was that everything you wanted to discuss about Barbarian?
There are still 2 abilities.
Let's quickly do them then. Let's do it.
Called Indomitable Might.
Yes, tell me all about it.
I think it's... For strength and constitution score. Oh, wait, no, that's wrong.
Yeah, that's the final one.
Yeah, that's the right one.
Yeah. I know this one. You got it wrong. The order, I mean.
Yeah, it is not for saving throws, but if you make a strength check...
Yes.
And the result is lower than your strength score.
Yep.
You can replace the result with your strength score instead of the rolled strength. So, let's say you have... you roll a 1 on your...
a net 1.
Net 1 on your escape to... trying to escape a grapple. But you still have, like, maxed out 20 strength.
Yes.
You can say... I'm still gonna escape that.
No, I don't think it works like that. You have to say it before you roll, I thought.
Let me double check that.
Because else it feels really unbalanced. You can just always get a 20 on strength.
No. It doesn't use a resource. You don't have to say it. It's just if you roll lower than your strength, you can literally use your strength.
At what level is this?
This is pretty high, level 18.
Oh, okay. Maybe, I'm not comfortable with making claims about high level D&D, whether something is balanced or not. Because
grappling a barbarian, not the brightest idea.
Well,
definitely
getting
not
near a barbarian that's level 18 is not a good idea.
Yeah.
It's just bad stuff is going to happen. So, level 20.
But the thing is,
they
don't have to be enraged for this ability.
No. So it helps them in non-combat scenarios as well, which is nice, because we didn't see that before. I think level 18 is a bit too late to start introducing it, but it's good that it's at least there. What I'm really excited about is the level 20 ability, however, because this one is really strong. Yes. I think as far as level 20 abilities go.
So, I also know this one by heart.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You tell me first.
So,
what is the max a normal player character
20. The max cap of any skill is 20.
Skill. Yeah.
The barbarian gets an increased max of 24 for their strength and constitution, I believe.
Yeah.
And they then get a +4 in those skills, raising them up to 24 each. That's a 20th level, but still, that's in total you get +8.
For the record, if you have a barbarian with 18 constitution, you don't automatically go to 24 constitution, but you go to 22. So your max goes up to 24. But if you have 18 on constitution, you're only going to get up to 22. Yeah, by other means, of course, you can get it up to 24 later. But then again, it's already 20th level. So getting getting an ability score improvement after the 20th level is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, well, there's like magic items that do it. A few. I think it's called the Manual of Health. That's from the top of my head, so I might be wrong. But there's a few items that can do it. Not a lot.
But yeah, this boosts your +5 on strength to +7.
Yes.
That's
really good.
I don't have the word for it.
What a beautifully strong class.
But then again, it is a level 20 ability.
Yeah, that's true.
But a level 20, barbarian also gets unlimited rages.
Oh, on top of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at that point, they might as well, right?
Yeah.
I think Druid also gets unlimited wild shapes at that point. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's level 20. It's not supposed to be balanced.
No, absolutely not. Level 20, your party's supposed to just go, oh, you see that Kraken over there? Well, not anymore. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's time for our closing thoughts on the Barbarian. I'll allow you to go first.
I love the class. I love its flaws. I love I love role-playing barbarians because
you don't have to think.
Because sometimes they're just so simple.
Yeah.
And I don't say that I have to compare or comp them with a simple personality as well.
I think that's also their charm, their simplicity. Yeah. It's a great class for new players especially. But also, if you just want to have an easy time, you just want to hit some things, you just want to lay back, the Barbarian is ideal. I personally wouldn't go for it, because I like more role-play heavy classes. I think personally I go more in the direction of Rogue or maybe a Spellcaster, because I like giving utility or being able to go, oh, I'm going to sneak over there, instead of just saying, I'm going to do this one thing every time, which is hitting them. But I think the Barbarian has a really important place in D&D. It's really just, it's nice.
It is a melee class. Ranged things is not its type. Unless you get something that flies from itself, every enemy, every flying enemy is going to be a big problem for the Barbarian.
Yeah, it's good for it to have a weakness though.
Yeah. But then again, it is sometimes just fun to play a Barbarian.
Yeah, absolutely. Cause just like big numbers on dice. Just getting to roll that d12 every time. And then once you hit that crit, oh my god, the satisfaction. I can't even imagine doing that. It's amazing.
5d12.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for the DM, it's a bit of a headache, but I think it can be nice.
Yeah, but DM, you can always throw something that doesn't do the original slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning damage.
Or something flying. Those are the two
options.
Hey, combine them and like kill that barbarian in like 2 rounds. Let's do it.
Or something with spellcasting, like hold person. Wisdom saves, they're not that great at, I think. They don't get anything for it, I mean.
No, intelligence probably even worse. Because nobody takes intelligence, right? It's like the ultimate dome stat for martial classes.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a specific subclass for it. But that's already getting off topic a bit. I think we've covered most, haven't we?
Yeah.
Then it's time for our new segment. Or, not new, but the newest addition to our segment. Monster of the Week. What monster do you think it's gonna be? So, I already asked you this. Had you made any guess?
Yeah.
I will tell you that it's an undead.
It's an undead?
Yes. And it's a creature that has been reoccurring in a lot of sessions we've had lately.
A ghoul.
That's correct. There it is. Yes.
Is it actually a ghoul or is it a guess?
I'm
or both of them?
Yeah, both.
Fair enough.
Yeah. They're ghouls.
I could have seen this coming.
Yeah. I think I'll hand you the monster manual. And then I'll go get my phone, because that's where I have all my notes on them. Because they have quite an interesting history I would like to tell you about before we get into the stat block.
Ooh.
So, ghouls weren't always there, right? They had to be created at some point. And they're not like the typical undead, where they're raised from the dead. Now, there's, I believe, some wizard spells that raise corpses as ghouls. That's really more because you need a higher CR stat block than a zombie. But the way ghouls originally were created was through Dorasane. He was the first ghoul. So Dorasane was an elf that worshipped Orcus. Do you know who Orcus is?
It's like the main god of the orcs, right?
No, wrong. That's Grunge.
Then I just assumed, because there's orc in the name.
I know. I got confused initially as well. Orcus is a demon prince.
I know him. He has like this staff.
Yeah, I think
Orcus.
so. Yeah.
This guy is all about undead. He has his own plane.
No, well, he has his own layer on the abyss.
Yeah, that I mean.
Yeah. It's not too difficult.
I know.
The abyss has infinite layers, so... either way, we're not here to talk about Planesquake. Quick, move on! Okay, no. So, Dorasane, he worshipped Orcus. Orcus is the demon prince of Undeath.
Yeah.
He's, I think, one of the more famous demon princes. I think it's him, Grast, and Demogorgon are the most famous. 3.
I don't know Grast, but I know the Demogorgon.
Yeah, I think it's Demogorgon and Orcus. I think Grast comes after them. I think it's between those two times.
Yeah, well, then I know those two.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you know Yenogu as well. Okay, maybe we should move on.
Not by heart.
Okay, no. He's for Knowles, but whatever. So, Orcus likes undeath. And Dorasane really wanted to help Orcus. So he decided to do a little murdering. Kill his own people. Those surrounding him. He betrayed them. And Orcus was really into it. So he decided to reward Dorasane by turning him into a ghoul. In a way, making Dorasane undead. So ghouls are these... I don't even know they're like these pale humanoids with giant claws that just have this insatiable hunger for human flesh. They roam the night in packs. I think that's how it's described in the monster manual.
Despite their hunger, they don't actually need to sustain their bodies.
No,
right?
They can go, like, I think they can go hundreds of years without eating. They're undead. But they've got this, like, craving they can never stop. That's the entire deal with ghouls, right? There's just insatiable hunger that they cannot conquer, so they have to find humanoids, kill them, and eat them. Anyway, that was Dorasane's reward. And then he got to serve Orcus for a bit on the 421st layer of the Abyss. So Dorasane got his own layer. Orcus is up a lot higher. On the 421st layer, Dorasane was chilling. Just having dominion of his own little part of ghoul shenanigan stuff in that lair. But there was a problem. This is actually why I touched on to Yanogo earlier, because he's relevant for this still. Because his neighbor on layer 422nd was Yanogo. Yanogo is the demon prince of the gnolls, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the hyena dude. He's got this, I guess it's a morning star or a mace, I think. And it's like 3 spike balls on it.
Gnolls are also like very up there on cannibalism, right?
No, they're just really chaotic. I don't think they cannibalize necessarily.
I think they cannibalize, and their cannibalized brothers or pack members come back to life to assist the pack once more. I think that was it.
I don't think that's correct. No.
Like Gnoll Witherlings?
Oh, that might be it. Well, you can also have a lot of weird variants. And I'm not too familiar with Gnoll Witherlings. Aren't that a gnoll that's so hungry that it like stays alive when it dies? And it's like a skeleton gnoll or something? It's weird. There's even, well, I shouldn't say this actually. That would be a spoiler. I'm not gonna say it. There's a specific gnoll in a campaign that I intend to run. But, yeah, I won't mention that. Either way, when your neighbor's on the abyss, you know, it's not a really nice thing. Demons are very chaotic. They just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
And Yanogo figured, you know what? This Dorasane guy, I'm just gonna take his entire domain, conquer it, see what happens. And Dorasane, of course, he got a little panicked. And he went up to Orcus and said, hey Orcus, I kind of worship you. You turned me into a ghoul. Maybe, can you help me get out of this? This is kind of a pickle I'm in. And Orcus was just like, nah, fuck you. So Dorasane was pretty screwed. And what do you think Dorasane did at this point? Just curious if you could take a guess.
Well, he obviously was fighting for his home. He got denied by the one he worshipped. I got two things. He either sacrificed more.
Yes.
Or he went to another powerful person.
That second guess is correct.
Yeah.
So Dorasane was an elf. So he went to the only other beings that he thought could help him out, which was the elven pantheon.
Oh, wow.
So he prayed to them, and these elven gods looked at him, saw this wretched, ghoulified Dorasane, and they took pity on him. So they said, fine, we'll help you out, allow you to escape.
That's the chaotic good part of the elven,
I
guess.
And because of this act, all elves are immune to the paralytic touch of ghouls. So if you're actually playing an elf, and you get attacked by a ghoul, you cannot be paralyzed by their attack.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool, right? The way the lore kind of also works mechanically. And then later on, Dorasane still went back to Orcus. Because, that's an abusive relationship now. And now he lives on the 113th layer on the Abyss. The same layer of Orcus. Now he just has his own palace there. Where he then helps Orcus rule his layer of the Abyss, I guess. And then that's ghouls, so ghasts are slightly different. And their attacks actually can paralyze elves.
Oh.
Yeah. And maybe that's just because they're like a higher CR. Or maybe it's because they actually really make a distinction between ghasts and ghouls. Either way, the difference between a ghast and a ghoul, according to the lore, is that a ghast is a beefier, or a stronger ghoul, that's infused with more abyssal energy by Orcus himself.
More intelligence as well.
Yeah, so they're smarter, and they organize ghoul packs when they hunt at night.
Yeah.
So that's ghouls for you. The tale of Dorasane, the elf turned ghoul, that tried to find salvation by praying to the elven gods, and then probably went back to Orcus, apparently.
Maybe when he went back to Orcus, Orcus decided to reward him even more and turn him into a ghast.
I have no clue. I think Dorasane is already a really high CR creature. So I don't think making him a ghast would really change anything. He's probably already a ghast in a way, because he's the first ghoul. It's a bit iffy. if I were to run Dorosane personally, I'd say he's really much stronger than a Ghast. Because he rules party a bit.
Is he closer to a Ghast or a Ghoul?
I honestly don't know if there's that much of a difference. I'm not sure. Like, I know I study biology, but I can't, like, dissect an actual ghoul because they don't exist. So I can't tell you, unfortunately. Also, it's not actually biology. It's a lot more complicated, but whatever. I don't know why I had to defend my degree there, but...
you can. I won't judge you for it.
If any recruiters see this, hire me. That'll be all, actually. We should move on. This is a weird bit I'm doing.
Do you want to leave your LinkedIn in here?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't want anyone on my LinkedIn to know I have this podcast. That would be horrible.
Awesome, I'll take you.
Yeah, me getting like overly, like almost, I'd say aggressively defensive about where you put cheese and butter together. No, definitely not. Even though I do think I'm right. But yeah, we're getting off topic again. So, that's ghouls.
Yes.
They have some specific abilities. They have their paralytic touch, so whenever they attack people with their claws, there's a chance to paralyze their foe. Except for elves, because they're immune. And then ghasts can target elves.
Yeah.
And then they also have stench. They really smell horrible, because they eat human flesh all the time. And I imagine ghouls don't really bathe that much. So, I believe if you get in range or too close to them, you can get poisoned. I believe that's it. You can double check if you want.
The stench ability.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
It's actually only on the Ghast.
Oh, it's only on the Ghast. Okay. And then they also get Turning Defiance, which means they can't be turned dead.
A creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of the ghoul.
Yeah, that's stench.
Yeah.
Right? But they also get Turning Defiance.
Turning Defiance, the Ghast, and any ghouls within 30 feet.
Oh, yeah, they spread it to other ghouls around them. Yeah.
Advantage on saving throws against turn undead.
Yep. That's a really cool ability. If you have one of those pesky clerics,
so
also like that's always turning the undead.
Ghasts are basically like alpha ghouls.
Yeah, that's the idea, right? They're on in packs. Ghouls kind of have the lead. Yeah, that's their deal.
Yeah. I can see that working out,
yeah. So, I already mentioned this at the start, but ghouls have been featured a lot in one of the campaigns I've been running. The Undead campaign, we'll call it, which is a campaign filled with one-shots, where the players are playing as undead. And I'm really curious, what's your take on the way I run those ghouls, in comparison to the way I just explained their lore and how they're written in the monster manual?
Well, to be fair, you don't really control ghouls in that session, because in that session it's like we play the bad guys.
That's true. So I give the
play
players
the stat
control,
blocks.
Yeah. But even then, I believe it was one of the sessions was on a ship, and then one of the players got to play as a ghoul, and he had to eat more rations, and the others kind of symbolize his hunger.
Yeah.
And then I think they were really into the roleplay, because then at some point there were people on the ship you might have had to sacrifice.
Every time there was a person dying, we had the ghoul player onto it.
Yeah.
Onto it.
Exactly.
Trying to eat the corpse instantly.
So I think
you didn't want to be alone with that guy.
No, exactly. No. So I think even just by getting this brief description, I think that's what ghouls are all about. This is hunger. That's really the main focus, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this Dorosane guy, it's a really cool backstory. But if you're going to run ghouls, or your players run ghouls even, I think the hunger is really something you have to actively deal with.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need food to sustain themselves, but so you can lock them away in tombs.
Yep.
And have them with this hunger for hundreds of years, and then the tomb get broken open by some tomb raiders.
Well, they'll probably try to get out themselves, right? You need to build a pretty good
that as
tomb.
Well, but then there's gonna be ghouls that are starved for 100 years inside
not a good
that
situation.
tomb.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that tomb when they uncover it.
That's actually a cool setup for a ghoul encounter.
Yeah,
these really ancient ghouls that finally break out. That's cool.
And they have is like insatiable, like even worse than normal.
Yeah, it's almost like a vampire that hasn't drank any blood in a while. You're looking at me so anxiously right now.
Not vampires, please.
because of the chaos that was last episode. No, we won't do that. I was just trying to kind of see if you'd react, and clearly you did.
Let's just say that the listeners are happy they couldn't hear my face. Hear my facial expression.
Yeah, I don't think we're that far ahead of technology, but probably good thing I didn't witness that. So, it's been 56 minutes at this point. We've almost managed to fill an hour.
56, wow.
Yeah, I don't think it's good podcasting if we keep mentioning the time, but, I don't know, here we are. We just did it. I think maybe we should move on to wrapping this up.
Yeah.
So, Ghouls, final takes? I think they're neat, that's all. Which is a reference, but yeah.
They're undead, so they're probably going to be monsters you encounter a lot. Because undead are just an easy enemy to implement into a campaign.
Yes, that's correct.
And yeah, I like the insatiable hunger. But I also like there are two types of ghouls. The ghouls and the ghasts.
Yeah.
And like the combination between those two.
I think they're like CR1, right? The ghouls themselves, or are they lower?
1, yes. And the ghasts are 2.
As far as undead go, you could even form a horde of ghouls, and maybe a ghast or 2, and still have a relatively high CR undead encounter. Whereas if you compare this to zombies or skeletons, the CR is gonna come out way lower, and they're gonna feel more like minions.
Yeah.
I think
you
that's
are
really
gonna
nice
need
about ghouls.
like 100 zombies for like to create a level 10 encounter.
Yeah.
But then
I
again,
think that's about accurate, yeah.
Yeah, you might have a wizard with 1 fireball that can just annihilate the half of your zombies.
Yeah, or like a cleric that has turn on that, and the ghouls already have some ways around that. So I like that a lot.
I know, everyone's gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghouls are a bit more challenging than your average zombies and skeletons. And I like that.
Yeah, I think it's nice. They're also, I think they have a bit more flavor as well.
Yeah, I like their backstory.
Yep.
You explained it very well, by the way.
Thank you. So yeah, if there's any DMs out there still listening, first of all, we're sorry. Second of all, ghouls are pretty neat. Maybe try running them in your campaign. They're cool. And, well, we talked about touching upon barbarian subclasses. It's almost an hour.
Well,
maybe we should do a 2-parter.
Right.
Are we gonna actually do this?
No.
Oh god, okay.
So, I am quickly gonna mention.
You're just gonna name drop them?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna.
Wait, maybe we should do that in the ending. Or, well, just do this first. Yeah, you're right.
First, we have the 2 in the player's handbook. You have Path of the Totem Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest, everyone's just interested in the bear because you get resistances to all types of damage against except force.
So this is a problem I'm already having with this, Walter. You just
and
spent.
Then we have the Path of the Berserker,
Walter, we can't do this.
Which is more barbarian in your barbarian.
Oh my god!
Because when you finish it, you get very strong when you rage, but then you have exhaustion after your rage.
I'm sorry, everyone is listening. I can't stop him. He's too strong.
Then we have our first supplement, Xanatar's Guide. We have our Path of the Ancestral Guardian. Very good for keeping not only yourself, but also your teammates alive. We have Path of the Storm Herald.
He is viciously just tearing apart the pages in all these handbooks, looking for like the names
you are always
and the characteristics.
The center of attention because everything around you is literally a storm and you're in its eye.
My god. This is horrifying to witness right here. Books are like falling on the ground. Oh, he just picked up another one.
Now we have Tasha's Squadron of Everything.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Did you ever want to be a sorcerer, but at the barbarian at the same time?
Yeah, man, I guess.
We now have Path of the Wild Magic.
Okay, that was actually pretty cool.
Roll on the wild magic table, while not even having the ability to cast spells. But the last one...
You can't find it? You have to look for your pages again? That's fine, we'll wait.
Is the Path of the Beast.
Oh, there, you found it, okay.
It's basically... You're the alpha, you become insanely strong, and people around you also become a bit stronger.
Can I ask you something, Walter?
And those are the Barbarian.
Can I ask you something?
Primal Paths.
Why aren't there any episodes online?
What's that?
Why aren't there any of our episodes online? We're recording episode 5. Episode 3 and 4 aren't even up.
We have some technical difficulties.
Right. So I think what we can gather from this is that Walter's been spending way too much time researching all of our subclasses. And way too little time uploading our episodes. I don't think that's a negative message to end on, actually. I feel like we should have some viewer interaction. So maybe we should quickly cover...
Yeah.
It's not even relevant, because by the time we're discussing this...
They're gonna be online.
Are already going to be online. But essentially, we're recording episode 5 for now, and we're taking a very long time uploading our other episodes. So we're kind of creating this drought in a way. Which is strange, because we do keep recording them, but we're just not uploading them. So we'll probably have to bombard people with like weekly episodes for a bit.
Yeah.
And then by the time this one's out, we'll hopefully have fixed that mess, and then they're going to come in at a much slower pace again. So if anything, this is just a warning, maybe. That sounds ominous. I think we're doing the thing again where we have trouble ending on an episode. So we just keep adding stuff onto it.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so maybe that's it. That's the episode.
Let's say goodbye.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for listening, and goodbye.